we have a definition of middle class in the United States. I mean, I've never heard the same one used twice, and people use different definitions for their own advantage. I think personally, the way I would look at it is I'd divide a state or the country into 5 segments, and I'd count the middle 3 as the middle class. And that, to me, is a good way to organize our thinking. But other people will say, let's divide it in 4 and count the 2 middle groups as the middle class. There's lots of ways to do that. I like dividing the country into 5 segments and treating that 60% of the population as the middle class. I think every day people change that definition to support an argument to their own advantage. And I think we're getting further and further away from the truth, from science, from facts, and to the degree that facts and science don't agree with the present administration's point of view, they dismiss them. So I think we're getting further and further away from a good definition, and it'll get worse and worse.
And you don't think that well, what would your response be to the question then, what would the effect of this particular tax bill be?
Oh, well, I'd say this, that it doesn't really matter which group you're in. It's going to be a disaster. It's going to be a disaster. No, it is. I mean, this is a revenge budget. So it's really designed to go after the states who didn't support Donald Trump. And those states like California, where they have a progressive graduated income tax, where the highest level is 13%, they fund their schools. They fund their health care in their state. They're funding the things that we want to fund here. Places like New York, I think New York State is about a 6% income tax, but so does New York City. It's 6 and 6 there. So they're up at like 12% too. And they're doing their best to fund their schools, to fund criminal justice reform, to provide safe neighborhoods. And this is going to attack those states because you can't deduct those taxes anymore. And that's really, really bad. There's also in there an attack on university communities, like very clearly identified. Go right after the university communities, because in the rural areas where Trump won so well, he almost always loses a place where there's a university. And in that tax bill, they're like missiles aimed right at the university. So one of them is taxing graduate students who receive free tuition and saying that that tuition should be counted as income, which drives them into a higher income bracket on the measly wages that they're making now. And they have to pay taxes on phantom income that they don't actually receive. If you destroy universities, if you destroy education in our states that are funding education, you destroy our country. It's bad for everybody.